What the hell are you, boy?
Welcome to Zon!
I ain't giving you no second chances, punk.
A second chance? I thought I was on my fifth.
Ekko let out a laugh as he reached for the controller on the back of his hand, giving it a twist as time seemed to slow, and then reversed back to the moment he had run into this thug. But even his zero drive could not rewind time to the beginning of his own story. Born with a genius-level intellect in the sumps of Zon, Ekko constructed simple machines before he could even crawl. Amazed by their son's intellect, his parents vowed to provide a good future for their son. Ekko saw things differently, however, as he witnessed his parents time and time again, working in dangerous conditions, toiling through long factory hours, only to return home looking as though they had aged beyond their years, and just to make ends meet. Then the factory owners would turn around and sell their handmade goods to the Piltovans for exuberant profits. Profits his parents would never see. Those Pilties only ever wandered over the promenade for good, cheap times and everything goes type clubs. Ekko living a privileged life in Piltover was not a vision of the future he shared with his parents. It was in Zon that Ekko saw his future. Buried beneath the oppressive layers of choking pollution, he looked deeper and discovered a dynamic city, overflowing with energy and potential. It was the Zonites that were the heart and soul of this city, not the chem junkies or tech-augmented thugs you saw in the Piltover newspapers, no. But the sump scrappers, the horticulturists, and the workers. They were resourceful, resilient, and industrious. They built a thriving culture out of catastrophe and flourished where others would have simply laid down and perished. It was their spirit that drove Ekko. It was their spirit that made him build his machines exclusively out of junk no one else valued, and spurred him to test them on himself. This spirit was not his alone to inherit, however. He befriended scrappy orphans, inquisitive runaways, and anyone whose thirst for excitement was infectious as the grey pox. Together they formed the Lost Children, running wild and free through the streets of Zon, answering to no one except their own whims, opting to keep their bodies whole, seeing augmentations as a waste of money, standing out from the criminal gangs by refusing to steal from people who had nothing or less than they had. As Ekko grew older, his inventions became more fantastic and complex, requiring more exotic components that needed to be liberated from the scrapyards. It's not like the chem barons or pilties wanted their discarded junk, and he could put their trash to good use. One night while scouring the rubble of a recently demolished lab, Ekko made an astonishing find, a shard of a blue-green gem that glittered with magical energy. He quickly searched and discovered more shards of the glowing jewel, the shards humming as if they sang a broken melody, growing louder and louder as they grew closer to one another. Every child in Zon had heard tales of Hextech crystals, powering weapons and heroes. They could create energy on their own. These little crystals had the power to change the world, and now Ekko held a broken one. After escaping the scrap heap and long study, Ekko discovered that the crystals had a large surge of energy when brought closer together, and when pulled apart, a magnetic-like resistance fought his efforts. It was as if the splintered crystals remembered being whole. His hands could not keep up with the ideas his mind had for the crystals. During one less than scientific experiment, the gem exploded into a vortex of shimmering dust, triggering eddies of temporal distortion. Ekko opened his eyes to several splintered realities, and several, echoes of himself, staring back in sheer panic amid the fractured continuum. He had really done it this time. After some tense coordination between Ekko and his paradoxes, they managed to contain and repair the hole he'd torn in the fabric of reality. Eventually, he would harness the shattered crystal's temporal powers into a device that would allow him to manipulate small increments of time, at least in theory. However, before he could test it, his friends badgered him into climbing the Old Hungry to celebrate his name day. Slinging the device over his shoulder, he reluctantly came with. The hair on Ekko's arms tingled with electricity and stood on end, with the sound of a large crack snapping him back as he watched his friend reach for the rotting plank to repeat his soon-to-be fatal error. Numerous rewinds and some adjustments later, Ekko managed to reach down, grabbing his plummeting friend by his shirt collar and swing him to the safety of a nearby ledge. To others, it appeared as if Ekko had the reflexes of a god. But he told his friends about the crystal and the time manipulation device he had created, making them swear to keep quiet. Adventure and risk, however, were what the lost children did best, and without fear of consequences, they could very well change everything.
Here's the thing about time. If you can't make the most out of any given moment, then you don't deserve a single extra second.